And we're back with me, Johnny McMurray, on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. Back in the realm of the GK Union, tonight's guest has made it all the way to the Premiership, and we actually played together for a short stint. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Alan Blayney. Alan?
Thanks for having me on, Tom.
How are you, sir?
All good, thank you.
Been a while?
It has been a while, yeah.
How's things?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Coaching away, I see. GC coaching?
Yes, yeah. GC coaching. Obviously, I'm still with Lauren Academy as well. I coach them on a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night and a Thursday night.
Okay.
I do one-to-one coaching during the week for GC and on a Sunday as well.
Are you enjoying the one-to-one stuff?
I do enjoy it. To be fair, it's good crack with the kids. To be fair, obviously it's difficult sometimes. You know, they're all kind of mixed abilities. So it's difficult sometimes when you get ones that aren't sort of up to par with the other ones and stuff like that. You have to take a bit more time and stuff like that with them. But it's enjoyable.
Is that the one that's based out of, like, it's up Shankill direction?
Yes, it's up the top of the Woodvale Park. They got a new wee kind of 3G pitch and stuff up there, so it's good.
And he's doing a lot of work with Arsenal.
Yes, he's there's a partnership now with Arsenal as well, so he takes teams back and forward over the Hale End in London and stuff like that, back and forward. So it's great for the kids, and obviously it's really good publicity for GC coaching as well.
Looks right. So we've been together, we've played with each other.
Yeah,
I was there with you at Lauren when you were coaching. We had a lot of good times together. But what I'd never really figured out was who was Alan Blayney. Like, you've had a massive career in England.
Yeah.
Save of the season, which we will dive into at one stage because we did joke about it on numerous occasions, but
yeah,
it is something that I want to bring up because it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you're with some people and then you get to know the person more than the career, sometimes it gets bypassed.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people probably bypass you in your career that you've had in England and just think you're a goalkeeping coach now.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to figure it all out.
Okay.
So I would like to take it back to the start.
No worries.
So the podcast usually flows in a similar direction. How did football become something that you were interested in?
Mm-hmm.
And how did we end up getting to the stage where Alan was on his way to England?
Okay, so, well, my kind of, I don't like saying football journey, I think everyone says that. My kind of path wasn't quite normal, to be honest. I hated football until I was around 12, 13. I never kicked the ball until I went to secondary school. I mean, mates used to always play football and stuff like that, you know, around kicking the ball off walls and stuff like that. So I had to just jumped in for a laugh and diving on the concrete like an idiot.
Yeah.
And just by luck, one of my mates' teams, their goalkeeper was off sick, so they asked would I come and jump in goal. Jumped in goal, maybe played 4 matches, and found out there was a Southampton scout there watching the games.
Right, okay.
Thought no more of it. Then he came, rapped my door one night. Hello, Mr. Blayney, can I speak to you? And my dad was like, what's this about? He goes, I want to speak about your son. I want to send him over on trial to Southampton. And my dad was kind of like,
doesn't play football?
Our Alan doesn't play football. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So he came in and obviously he's been watching me for a few weeks or a few months or whatever, and he really liked what he's seen and wanted to send me across on trial. And we were all kind of just sitting going, is this a joke? Like, I've only been playing football maybe, 4 months maybe. So that's where it all started. Went over on numerous trials back and forward to Southampton. And back then, you see, there was no obviously mobile phones or anything, so you didn't know how you got on and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was kind of like you always had to wait for a letter to come through the door. So you always got back, you went for a week, came back, and then you kind of just were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it was kind of maybe weeks, maybe months. You were waiting on a letter coming through the door. So the letter always came through the door saying we would like to invite him back for another trial, blah blah. And then obviously when I was over there, they offered me a scholarship.
See, whenever you talk about going into football, you weren't really that interested, and then all of a sudden someone's kind of rapping the door to say, we're going to send you away.
Yeah.
Are you quite sceptical at this stage to be like, I don't really know if I like it enough, and I don't really know if I want to go across to England to try out for a team? Or were you in the opposite field to be like, absolutely, let's do this now? I actually enjoy it. And
Yeah, no, it's strange because I don't understand how I went from not liking football to absolutely loving it.
you obviously found out you were decent. Do you know what I mean? You probably would have just, you were
Kind of
crap,
just,
you know,
I loved diving about in the muck and getting dirty and messing about with mates and stuff like that. But it was actually it's so strange to me. I can't put my finger on it why it happened, because I despised it. If it was on the TV in the house, I'd have been out, whatever. And then it just flipped, and I just absolutely loved it. And when obviously he told us all the details, I was like, yes, 1,000,000%, get me over there.
it's just so surreal that like you've probably had a couple of weeks in there, and then all of a sudden you're the person who's been seen. Like when we talk about like a stroke of luck, everybody needs something.
Yeah.
Like for that kid to be injured, for you to go, I'll go and do this as a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
And then you turn out to be actually really good at it. And then it's like, okay, you're going to Southampton. It must be like, oh God, I've got something here.
Yeah.
Like you obviously had ability.
Yeah, but I don't know where it came from. It's obviously it must have been just a natural ability from stopping the ball going in the goal.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm kind of looking, because me and Elliot Morris, we're good friends. We grew up together.
Okay.
And I'm kind of looking at him going, he's been a goalkeeper all his days. You know what I mean? He's kicked the ball from he could walk.
Yeah.
And I've got this opportunity and he hasn't. And I kind of felt a wee bit awkward in a way, and I felt bad, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like,
You've been doing this for years, and I've only done this for
yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of it was a strange one, because people must have been looking, going, "Where's Elliot there?" Like, and in my opinion, Elliot was far better than me.
Okay.
Far better than me when we were younger. And obviously I got that opportunity, and he didn't at that time. And it was very, very strange, but one that, you know, I absolutely loved.
Yeah. Going over to Southampton, what was that like? Because you talk about there, I know most of the guests that come on, there's no phones, and you were kind of isolated, you were brought over, you obviously experienced this whole new scenario that you've probably never been accustomed to.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Honestly, it was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Loved it. We didn't go and stay in digs or anything. When we went on trial, all the kids from England all came together. We stayed in an army barracks.
Okay. Right.
In Winchester.
Right.
So it was like 6 people to a room. So you can imagine what that
dorms.
Yeah, dorms. So you can imagine what that's like. You know what I mean? You're just having the best of fun with all people, not your friends, but people you're getting to be friendly with.
Yeah.
So you're having the best time. You're training 2 or 3 times a day, and it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, you're playing football and you're having fun. What more can you ask for at a young age?
Do you think that kind of helped you get accustomed to life moving away, because you were surrounded by all these people? Like, it wasn't like you were put into a family and left in a bedroom. Whereas a lot of people who come on say that that's the way the digs works for them. Like, they've been...
Well, I'll get on to that in a bit, because it didn't really get me to get accustomed to it, because obviously when I made the transition to go over full time, then the home sickness
come in.
Yeah, homesickness hit pretty hard, to be fair.
What age would you have been whenever you did sign?
I was 16.
So you've moved over straight away. You finished school.
Moved over straight away.
And then you're in the digs at that stage then?
Not digs again, no. We all lived in a big house.
Okay.
Together, so it was pretty similar to what we were doing on trial. So we all kind of lived in a big house. It was called the Lodge.
Okay.
So kind of all the boys that were signed, we all lived in that one big house. So it was either maybe 2 or 3 day room and stuff like that. So it was the same scenario. You're having the best crack with all your mates, and then you're going to play football the next day. So but back then, you know, you cleaned the boots and you cleaned the toilets, and you wouldn't get away with it now. Obviously kids can't do things like that now. But it was just, while I was training, it was a brilliant time.
Yeah.
But then the homesickness started to creep in a wee bit. So it did.
That tough for you?
It was tough. I actually left for 8 months.
Right.
So that I came home. I think after my first year, I kind of struggled with it a good bit. Second year, I went back. And then I wasn't feeling it at all. I kind of the homesickness was really getting on top of me. I had met, obviously, my wife now, Laura. I had met her in the summer holidays. So I just wanted to come home. Yeah. So I came home for an 8-month period. signed for Glentoran, but not really because I wasn't showing up. I kind of just
Wanted a break. No?
I kind of just wanted a break. I was going to training, but not I was going and not turning up for training and all different things like that. Because kind of in my head, I was kind of like, I still want to be a professional footballer, but the problem is I have to be in England to be a professional footballer.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to kind of get my head around it that there's nothing here for me. You know what I mean? There's nothing in this country for me for what I want to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. So I'm going to have to go back. So it kind of, what kind of, bedded me back into that was Southampton were in the FA Youth Cup. So they got in touch with me and says, would you come over and play the FA Youth Cup games? We'll fly over and fly straight back home again. So did that. We got to the semi-finals, the FA Youth Cup. And then that kind of gave me a hunger for it again. Then I made the transition then back over again.
So see at this period where you've came home and you've ultimately signed for the Glens, what are Southampton thinking that they've signed this young lad on a scholarship, like a programme, and he's just AWOL? Like, are you very much still in touch with them? Are they like, why don't you try this and then we'll still be in contact? Or like, because pretty much you'd probably be thinking like, if you can leave, you're done. They'll find another goalkeeper.
Yeah. No, there was actually no contact. They kind of just left me alone kind of thing. It wasn't, they obviously tried their best to keep me there.
Yes.
But I had made my mind up. I was going home. But I didn't really have a plan.
Okay.
I was kind of just like, I'll go home and I'll figure it out. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I still wanted to be a professional footballer. But the problem was, obviously, I still needed to be in England to do that. But they kind of just left me alone, and obviously the contract was void, so that's how I was able to sign for Glentoran then.
Yeah.
But I think I played maybe 2 reserve games or something like that. I didn't really play many matches. And then obviously they got back in touch then for the FA Youth Cup. That's what kind of, broke me back into it again.
See, looking back on in your position that you're in now to what you were in, how much luck do you think's involved with they came back in? Because if there's no other clubs really involved and they've went, like, what's made them think, let's just phone Alan, see if he wants to come in and do us a favour here? Because we're Southampton. Like, you'd think that they would have like a conveyor belt of young goalkeepers that would want to...
Yeah, you'd think that, but obviously back then at Southampton, they only carried 1 goalkeeper for every age group.
Okay.
So when I left, they didn't have a goalkeeper. So they got a boy in from Bristol City. He used to come and play matches and then go back to Bristol City.
Okay.
Some kind of loan arrangement or something they had with him. But obviously he wasn't allowed to play in the FA Youth Cup. So that's why then they came back to me. And there is a lot, yourself, there's a lot of luck involved as well. If a kid wants to be a professional footballer, it's not all just, you have it your own way. There does have to be bits of luck here, there and everywhere. Yeah. So there does. So it worked out well for me.
Well, it did, because you obviously get to go back. You get to potentially try to live out your dream that you've always wanted. But when you go back, you get that hunger involved. You're full time again. Do you settle in a wee bit better going back this time because you've had that wee bedding in process, or are you back to like, no, I actually don't enjoy this at all?
No. I was back to the homesickness.
Right, okay.
Straight back to it. Obviously, my and Laura's relationship was getting a wee bit more serious and stuff like that, but Laura never came and lived with me full time. She was always back and forward, stayed for a week, kind of went home for 2 weeks, just back and forward like that. So I could never really settle. You know what I mean? But it was just one of them things. I wanted to be. I loved training and all what entails being a professional footballer. But I just didn't like the fact that I couldn't live at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was kind of like, well, if you go home, you're going to have to play in the Irish League. And I kind of had a bit of it was probably an ego thing as well. You know what I mean? I don't want to go home and play in the Irish League. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've got the experience, something that many people don't experience.
Yeah.
Yet at a big club at this stage, they're in the Premiership or almost. And let's be honest, like you're training with the best footballers on the planet at that level, at that age, and you're sitting going like, there is a big step in coming home. Why would you want to do that?
That's it. You know what I mean? At the time, you know what I mean, you're young. You don't really you don't really think like that. You kind of just go through the motions and just you train, you play matches, you train, you play matches. Do you know what I mean? It's not really, you don't really sit down and you don't really have much time to process it all. All I do was when I got home from training, I wanted to be at home.
Yeah. Because you weren't distracted enough in the day. You were like, this is fine.
Yeah.
It's strange to think that, like, whenever you do go over, things do automatically change for you. Like, life dramatically changes whenever you get introduced to full-time football. As you talked about, at that stage, you're probably still very much in the era of you have your jobs and people are like, you have to clean boots or you have to mop floors and chores and stuff like that. What's that like for a young lad moving over from Belfast and being told, like, this is what you have to do now and you're in charge of such and such and he's going to give you all his stuff and you have to clean it or wash it, or like, is that daunting for you? Like, do you freak out a wee bit? Or?
It's nerve-wracking, and quite a few times I had boots handed back to me going, they're not good enough.
Right,
you need to wash them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you obviously you see these guys on TV before you move over there, and they're Premiership footballers. So them handing you your boots and stuff like that, and you're face to face with them, it's kind of daunting a wee bit.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know what kids are like from here. Their mummies do everything for them.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you go over there, you're kind of like, right, there's a toilet brush, there's the scrubbing brush, away you go, clean that shower.
Gloves on, all the best.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not just clean it and then away you go. You know what I mean? It's checked and made sure it's done properly and all this kind of thing. So it's kind of, like I said, you couldn't ask kids nowadays to do things like that. But we just kind of...
It was just normal too.
It was like, just normal. When you go, before you go over, you kind of know that's what you have to do. You have to clean boots and clean.
You've heard stories probably for previous people doing it as well.
Yeah.
You're like, this is just like natural progression for us.
Yeah, and there's good perks of cleaning professional footballers' boots. You know what I mean? Because at Christmas time, they sort you out with a couple of pounds and stuff like that. So that was always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone specific? Like, whenever you went in, were you given like 2 players and you had to look after such and such?
Yes, I was looked after the 2 goalkeepers, the 2 first team goalkeepers, Paul Jones and Neil Moss.
Okay.
So then obviously Paul Jones's feet were a size 13, so his boots took a lot. His boots took a lot more cleaning. So I always looked after the 2 first teams. So you kind of were given what position you played.
Okay.
You were given their boots to clean.
What was that like for you? Like, did that not inspire you to be like, I'm going to get to the stage where somebody's going to be cleaning my stuff? Or were you just so focused on being like, I actually just want to go home?
It wasn't. I said, while I was at the training ground, loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I didn't want to leave the training ground. I could have stayed on that pitch all day long, but obviously you weren't allowed to. But I never looked at it in terms of, I never really had, you see these people, I have a plan. You know what I mean? By this stage, I want to be here and I want to be there and I want to be playing for this and I want to be earning this kind of money and blah, blah, blah. I never had a plan. I just kind of let it flow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just kind of see where it took me. You know what I mean? I just was kind of in the moment. Do you know what I mean? So I never really had a plan of where I wanted to go with it. It was just kind of like, this is what I do now and I'll just get on with it.
Yeah. You do it until it kind of comes to an end.
Yeah. But you kind of think, you're always going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you kind of take it for granted a wee bit, I think. You don't, there's times where, like I said, I love training and loved working hard, but there's times you do to take the foot off the gas a wee bit.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, well, I'm always going to be a footballer, so I don't need to give it 110% every single day.
I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like it's a lot different now than probably what it was back then.
Yeah. Massive.
Even everything around football is completely different. Like, as much as I prefer the old style of football and the way things are, and the way kids are now are completely different, but it just seems like life today is more accustomed for kids to be isolated and be footballers, if that makes sense. Like, they're more comfortable in like a setting where they can just go away from a ring. They've got, like, as you say, you never had a phone. Yeah. You couldn't phone anyone, so you were probably just stuck till you had to meet your mates again the next day or whatever it was. Yeah, well, that's... Kids now can just FaceTime you and chat.
The kids now, young footballers now, like, when I was a kid, you trained once a week and played a match on a Saturday. Yeah. That was it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm coaching at Lauren at the minute, and the kids, they train 3 nights a week and then they have a match on a Saturday. So they're kind of... they're kind of like young professionals. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously I've been back and forward to England and stuff, and I watch the kids, and everything's just geared around them just being professional footballers. Their whole life is just taken up with
This is
everything to do with football, your nutrition and gym and analysis and everything like that. It's just everything's geared towards them being a professional footballer, and they have a really good chance because of how much they have now.
Yeah, the system that's in place for them from
Yeah.
young age allows them to be
Yeah.
sort of like ready for it.
Well, it's kind of like a scientific approach, you know what I mean? It's all up on screen for them. If you do this, you'll get to here.
Yeah,
As we're back in my day, it was just kind of like, go train and see what happens.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Whenever you are training and you're at Southampton, at what stage do you believe or you feel the belief in yourself that you're going to make it into the first team when you're going to start playing games? Because obviously there's a lot of loans that go out through that period that you're over there.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you do end up getting that experience. You do end up making the first team appearances and playing.
Yeah.
But do you think that that's ever going to come, or do you think that like...
Well, that was my biggest downfall.
Okay.
I didn't have any self-belief.
Okay.
And I went to speak to a few, they had sports psychologists back then and stuff like that. And I always had this kind of, what do you call it, imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Always had that. I'm a wee lad from a shore road. I always had this feeling, I don't deserve to be here. I'm not good enough to be here. I always had that. Always, the whole way through my career. Even after I had my debut for Southampton, even after I'm kind of like, well, I got man of the match, but that was lucky.
Yeah.
I always had that. You know what I mean? And no matter who told me, no, you're really good. You know what I mean? You're this, you're that. It never sunk in with me. I just always had this imposter syndrome where I was never, and I think that maybe goes back to when I first started playing football, where it was kind of like I didn't play football at all, and then all of a sudden I just started playing, and it was kind of like a lucky way I got into football.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe why I always had that feeling.
Do you ever think to yourself too, because like you've been in football for quite a long time, you've also coached and been at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who are just obnoxiously confident, and it's like, how?
Yeah.
And then there's other people who are supremely talented, like yourself, who just don't have that at all. And you're like, how have you got this self-confidence? Like, where does it come from?
And I used to look at people like that in awe, because I looked at them and went, I wish I had that confidence. I wish I had half of your confidence. But it just never sunk in with me.
Hindsight's a massive thing, but
Yeah.
I think if you had confidence, it would have been able to project you to bigger things and so.
Yeah, well, I speak to my wife about this all the time, and obviously a few of different coaches and stuff like that knew that I did suffer from that, and they all agree that if I had like stupid confidence, I would have had a lot better career than what I had.
Yeah.
But it just never, no matter who I spoke to about it, it never sunk in with me at all. I just always had this, I'm a wee lad from a shore road, what? I don't deserve to be here. You know what I mean? And it kind of, when I made my debut for Southampton, it was kind of like, I didn't have any time to think about it. It was just kind of like, you're playing. I get into the dressing room, you're playing. And I was like, so no time to think. It was just like warm up, match started.
Who was the manager at this stage?
Paul Stark.
Right, okay.
Paul Stark was the manager. Andy Naimi was the first team goalkeeper. So he came in the dressing room and he was green.
Okay.
And as soon as I seen him, I near turned green, because I was like,
oh my God,
I know what's coming here.
Yeah.
But like I said, I had no time to think about it. It was just kind of like, right, you're playing, away you go. And because I had no time to think about it, I didn't realise how big it was. You know what I mean? You're playing in the Premier League against Newcastle, like Alan Shearer and Gary Speed and boys like that are playing in the opposition team. But because I had no time to think about it, it was just kind of, I just done it.
Was that your first game, Newcastle?
Yeah, that was my first
at
team
home
game.
or away?
At home.
Right, okay.
At home.
Packed out then, you're thinking.
Yeah, it was 32,000 people at the game.
It must be so
Sky
different.
Sports.
I know you've kind of accustomed yourselves at this stage that you're in the ground every week and you're at different venues, and
Yeah.
there's the same numbers of 30, 40,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's different, but once you actually take that white line crossover, it must be so different than you just sitting in the stand being like, I might come on, but more than likely as goalkeeper, you know.
When you're sitting on the bench looking onto the pitch, well, I had this anyway, as that I always thought, please don't get injured. I do not want to get on that pitch, and that comes down to me being, not having a lot of confidence in my ability, because I was so nervous. If anything, like if the goalkeeper went down injured, I used to panic so bad.
But see, like from a different side here, thinking about this, because it's obviously a lot different for if I'm on the bench and Ben Kennedy's playing off from Ben gets injured, I know that I have to do a quick warm up and get on.
Yeah,
which is very generic warm up. You just have to do a few sprints up and down the line, get your legs moving.
Yeah,
on you get, and you kind of bring yourself into the game.
mm-hmm.
A goalkeeper is completely different. Like you're sitting there cold. You can't just do a few sprints, catch a few balls, and then think that that's you normal. Like you have to go and dive about, prone yourself, get yourself ready.
Yeah.
Like it's completely different. So
completely.
You would be more scared to go on at any stage, even like not just at the Premiership level, but I mean like the general any level.
Yeah, well, you obviously when you're on the bench, you take part in the warm up at the start of the game, but you warm up and then you go and sit in the bench, so you cool right down again.
100%.
You know what I mean? And your feel for the ball goes and everything. So, like you're explaining, that probably does make sense. You know what I mean? But for me, it was never that. It was if I go on here and I make an absolute ricket. You know what I mean? This is on TV. People from home are all going to see this.
Match of the day.
Yeah,
hammering you.
Do you know what I mean? I had all these thoughts racing through my head.
Yeah.
Obviously, it never happened. I didn't get on as a sub, but like I go back to my debut. I had no time to think about it, so I think that's why it went so well.
Did you stay in the team at that stage, or what happened?
Yeah, well, Andy, he obviously was still sick, so that was the second last game of the season. So the last game of the season was the following week against Charlton.
Okay.
So played in that game as well. Done really well in that game as well. Again, I didn't really think about it. It was just kind of, I went out and done it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was travelling. They obviously tested him before the game. He says, I still don't feel 100%. So it was kind of like, cause in my head, I was hoping, oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was hoping he was going to be fine. And it was kind of like, right, you're starting. So it was the same scenario. You're just on the pitch, away you go.
Whenever you get to the stage where you're competing for that starting thing, like position every week, is that where you start to feel more pressure?
Well, I was never really, well, that was obviously the last game of the season I played. I was never really competing. I was always kind of like third or fourth choice, but we had a few injuries and stuff like that, so I was never really competing at Southampton to be the starting goalkeeper. So there, I didn't really experience that at all.
You do get some highs.
Mm-hmm.
That's Southampton.
Yeah.
And you get save of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, sure.
Yeah.
Talk me through the moment, because it's one that we've always joked about, and everyone does, as if they say, oh, I saved the season cracker and all day long.
Everybody jokes about that. Everybody jokes about it.
Not many people are ever going to get the chance to get into the Premiership.
Yeah.
Also, not everybody's going to say the bullet header from Algier.
But it's a running joke no matter where I go with other coaches.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's
really
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a running joke. All the coach, any new goalkeeper. When I was at Larne, Tiernan loved that one.
Yeah.
When I was at Larne, any new goalkeepers were coming in and going, "Oh, you going? If you showed him your save of the season,
100%.
that kind of thing." But it was kind of.
Does this save the season before you go? Does this happen on your debut?
Yes.
How mental?
Mental, man.
Like, so you've got your first game against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Shearer's up front, ready to stick the finger up and run away to the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, anybody who hasn't seen it should go watch it, because you're like a cat. You spring and it's just like, and it's over the bar, and it's like, what has happened there? Like, because he's just dead in the middle of you, ready to.
Yeah. And at the time when I made the save, I didn't actually realise what type of save it was, because it was just a reaction save.
Yeah.
So you obviously go back and watch it. And I've probably watched it about 1 million times.
Absolutely. It has 1 million views, it's all you.
Yeah. It's kind of like, but that whole game, like I said, it was like it was a blur. It was a whole blur. And obviously after the game, you're getting pulled into the talk to Sky Sports cameras, and I'm kind of like, back then I was a lot shyer than what I am now. I'm quite shy now, but I was just stood in front of the camera and I didn't know what to say, but luckily one of the first team players was with me, so he kind of done most of the talking.
Yeah.
But it was just, the whole thing was just completely madness and surreal. Even thinking back to it now, it was a crazy night.
I think at that stage, if I'm in your position, I'm buzzing for match of the day.
Yeah.
10:50 or whatever it is, or 10:30. I'm sitting there ready, recorded.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Guy to give me all the praise.
Mm-hmm. No, I
You
was.
obviously, at the same time, we're probably thinking, this is just, sweet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which it blows my mind, because I'd have been trying to go out. No, I didn't stop it. I'd be like,
but after the game, obviously I got man of the match, and they have all the viewing lounges and stuff, so they all voted me as man of their matches as well.
Right.
So I had to go up into the lounges and give speeches and stuff in front of like hundreds of people and
Oh God, right.
all this carry on. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this isn't me at all. Like, I don't, it goes back to that thing where I don't deserve to be standing in front of all these people talking to them. So I couldn't wait to get out of the ground and get back to my apartment. Got back to the apartment and I kind of and there was no one there. Obviously Laura was back home at the time. So I was kind of just sitting in my apartment, just kind of going, what the hell just happened?
That's a bit mental.
Yeah.
Crazy day.
What the hell just happened? I just sat and looked at my bottle of champagne, because back then I used to get a big bottle of champagne.
Right.
Obviously they don't do that now. Mm-hmm. So I just sat and looked at that and went, I can't believe that just happened. It was actually mad.
See, at that stage too, though, like whenever you get introduced and like your overall contract at Southampton is like, obviously you're on your salary, and then if you're in the squad, and then if you play, right? So that's your first indication of making a debut. You're on the pitch. Would there have been a big jump in bonuses at that stage? No.
Back then, no.
Just
because I was still in my first professional contract. So I think I signed after we done 3-year scholarships,
which is like 40 quid a week.
£42.50 a week.
That's so mental.
We used to get paid every 2 weeks, and by the third day, my 85 quid was gone.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been the type to go out and buy a pair of trainers, and then I've no money for the rest of the 2 weeks. So back then, obviously, that was your set wage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, there was none of this where you go in, you negotiate a contract, and that's what the scholars get, and that's it. So I was on that for the first 2 years, and then it was bumped up then in your third year to £100 a week.
It's not a massive, like so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy. So you're a professional footballer and you're earning less than what someone's getting in McDonald's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But obviously that's back then, so it's all relative to back then, but it's a massive, massive difference now.
It's crazy to think, because I'm thinking, like, if you make it to, like, everyone probably in generalizations will think you get your debut in the Premiership, you're going to be making, when you're like, and it's just far from it at times.
Yeah. No, now I did get a wee bonus and stuff it kind of worked on like a point system. So if you were on the bench, you got a certain amount of points, and then obviously
it's like a seasonal thing. So
where you finish in the league, there's kind of like a prize money from the league. So then it gets split, but you have like, say you get like 1 point for sitting on the bench, and you get maybe 3 points for playing the game, or you get 2 points for coming on as a sub and stuff.
So anyone who starts all season is getting the full heap, all those lads, and then anyone who has 6.
Yeah. So at the end of that season, I came out with a nice wee lump sum, so it was nice, to be fair.
Whenever you start to come to the end of your time, you've obviously went on different loans. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy any of the loans more because you were playing regularly, or?
Yeah, one loan in particular stands out. I was on loan at Brighton. That's back when they were in the Championship.
Okay.
So they were but they were always kind of fighting relegation. Went on loan there for about 4 months kind of, and everything just clicked for me. I was the main man, to be fair. Done really, really well for Brighton. Done really well. Then they tried to sign me, which didn't work out. Like I was playing, they couldn't afford the 50,000 pound. Southampton wanted £50,000 for me, and Brighton couldn't afford the £50,000.
So your deal didn't go ahead over 50 grand.
50 grand. And you think of Brighton now.
Yes.
I mean, their players are earning that more than that
a week.
Yes. And back then their stadium was just like a makeshift like kind of stadium around a running track.
Yeah.
So the stands were all like scaffolding and things like that, and they couldn't afford the £50,000. And I really wanted to go there. I loved it there, and it was quite close to Southampton as well. So I still would have had my friends from Southampton and stuff like that. So I really wanted to go there, and obviously it didn't work out for obviously the money side of things. So I was really disappointed in that, to be fair.
Was there not like a stage where Southampton would have let you go if you had like started kicking balls or cracking up and being like, I'm not playing much, like I'm third choice or fourth?
Yeah, well, you do hear stories about things like that, but I wouldn't.
That wasn't you.
I wouldn't have that in me to do something like that, to be fair. Like they said, they probably would have, but I just.
The thing is too, if you probably had an agent, they would have probably told you like you're not training or advised you.
Yeah, that's it. Because I didn't have an agent. I just kind of, like I told you, I just took what I was given.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was none of this. Well, I'm not happy with that. I want more here, and I want this, and I want that. I just kind of like, because I had that kind of low self belief, I kind of was like, oh, I'm happy with that. I'll just take that kind of thing. I didn't actually. Where you go back to the boys that are like mega confident, they're kind of like, no, I'm not. I'm worth more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had that in me to be like that, so I kind of just took what I was given.
You end up going to Doncaster.
Yes.
So they came in after this didn't go ahead with Brighton.
Yeah.
Did they pay the 50 grand?
Doncaster paid the 50 grand. Yes.
Okay. What was that like?
I absolutely hated my time at Doncaster.
Okay, fair enough.
Hated my time at Doncaster.
Yeah. So how does that come around? No, like if you've just thought, listen, I want to go to Brighton, it has materialised, I'm going back, and then all of a sudden, is it like the matter of you just getting a phone call and being like, oh, here, there's a bid in for you, do you want to go? You say yes, and then you're like out the door, or?
Well, no, back then it was I basically got a phone call just to say, we've accepted a bid from Doncaster. You need to pack your stuff, away you go, kind of thing. Now, it probably wasn't in them many words, but I felt like there was pressure.
Yeah, so like
you need
get
to,
out.
you need to go because you're not wanted here anymore, kind of thing. And I thought, well, I'm not wanted at Southampton. What's the point? So I may as well go and give Doncaster a try. But back, I don't even think I even heard of Doncaster. No, I mean, I was like, what even league do they play in?
Kelly tax term.
What even league do they play in? So I went anyway. I was earning a decent salary and stuff like that, but I just didn't enjoy it. Played the first kind of season, then ended up with a really bad elbow injury. I dove on the training ground, stone in the pitch, busted my whole elbow open. Physio gave me the wrong type of antibiotics or whatever it was, so I ended up with septicemia.
Okay.
Yeah, ended up with septicemia. So I was kind of like, I was going in and seeing the physio. He's going, he stuck a few plasters on it. Back then it was just, he probably wasn't even qualified. It was just a physio.
Zeus.
Stuck a plaster, it goes, that's fine. And every day I could feel it, going and going, and it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just took myself to the hospital, and they took one look at it and goes, you're being checked in here. So I was in hospital for I think 7 days on a drip. The infection was right through my body, right through. If I hadn't went to that hospital, I probably could have died.
It's not funny, like, but
no, it is funny. It's funny now looking back at it.
Yeah.
So I was in a hospital in Doncaster, just lying in bed, hooked up to a drip.
Over
nobody from the football club came near me to see how was I or anything like that. So when I get out of hospital, I went, you know what, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I started to mess about. I used to fly home and not tell them I was flying home and different things. Didn't show up for training, and obviously then I get pulled in and goes like, we're going to let you go. Well, basically, we're sacking you.
Yeah.
Basically, because you're just pissing about here and it's not good for anybody. So I was like, right, okay, I'll go home. So I came home. I was home for maybe 2 weeks or something, or maybe I got a call from Oldham Athletic. They needed the goalkeeper for till the end of the season. There was like 6 months left of the season. So went back over there, signed there for a period, didn't really play, was on the bench most of the time. And then I got to the end of that, back and forward, different trials, went to Yeovil, and I rang Laura and goes, Laura, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Trying to find a club, scraping around, trying to get a different club here. For what? What for? You know what I mean? I says, look, I'm coming home. So that's when I made the decision then. It was time to come home.
You were very comfortable in that decision. You were just like, I just don't fancy this at all. Like,
yeah. I just never ever felt settled. Never felt settled. Like, the amount of times I used to fly home was crazy. From when I first joined Southampton to the end of like my career in England, I flew home really, really regularly, just so I could have that wee bit of taste of home. And then I flew back. There was sometimes I was flying home for like a night and flying back again for training, stuff like that. It was stupid, and the amount of money that I wasted doing that, looking back, is absolutely mental. But it kept me kind of sane.
Yeah.
So I was really comfortable in the decision coming home, to be fair.
See, whenever you were coming home, and obviously football hasn't went the way that you've particularly wanted to quite recently towards the end.
Yeah.
Are you thinking, I'm coming home to play in the Irish League, or I'm just coming home to...
Well, actually, what happened was I decided to come home, and I had a call from Tommy Wright. So he called me and says, Bohemians are looking a goalkeeper. Would you go down for, I think it was 4 months or something like that. And I said, yeah, why not? So I can live at home and travel up and down.
I just drive.
So that's what I used to do. I lived at home and travelled up and down to Bohemians, and that was full time. So I travelled up and down every day.
Yeah.
Again, didn't really play. Played the odd game here or there. And that came to an end then. So I came home, obviously I had no football club whatsoever. So that at that stage I kind of went, I don't think I want to play football anymore. I think I'm just gonna jack it in here.
At what age would you have been at this stage?
22, about 25, 20,
very early
26 maybe.
Considering like finishing.
And I was just kind of just doing nothing. And it was Laura that told me, look, you need to do something here. You're not letting that go to waste. You know what I mean? You need to play for someone. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. How to approach a team, or do you know what I mean? Yeah. What do I do? So I got all the Irish League managers' numbers, and just phoned them.
What's this, like Yellow Pages?
That's what it was like, mate. And I actually remember phoning Jerry Flynn, was the Newry manager at the time.
Or was he ever like, who was there? Joe? No, he would have might have just left. Joe.
I'm not sure. Joe's a bit younger than me.
Right, he was.
I'm not sure, but Joe, I got Jerry Flynn. So he was the first person I phoned.
Right. And
Jerry goes, "Who are you?" He goes, "What's your name, son?" And he goes, "My name's Alan. I've been in England and stuff like it, but I didn't want to. I'm not. I didn't want to big myself up on the phone. And I'm ringing around looking for a club. And he kind of went, well, we don't really have anything here at the minute. And I put the phone down, and I felt demoralised. I was like, I've played in the Premier League, and I can't even get a contract to play for Newry. So I felt demoralised. But then I kept ringing, so I obviously got to speak to Tommy Wright then again.
Okay.
And he says, yeah, come down and train.
And he's where, Ballymena?
He was the Ballymena manager at the time, yeah. Okay. So he said, come down and train, and we'll see how it goes, basically. So then they offered me a contract, but it was coming to the tail end of the season, so I couldn't play for whatever reason, I don't know, but they says you can train, we'll give you a few pound, whatever. And then that's kind of where it started back home.
Did you start to settle into football back home whenever you started getting regular?
Yeah.
So you were like, I'm very comfortable now.
Fair.
I live in Belfast. I'm going to Baltimore. It's a half-hour journey. I'm home again at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, very, very comfortable. I kind of was living with Laura then, you know what I mean? I was living at home, and I was getting still to do what I love, go and train and play and stuff like that. So I just felt completely settled in.
Was it different though, going full-time to part-time?
It was. It took a bit of adjusting.
Nighttime training and all.
Nighttime training, because you're kind of like, obviously you're training in the evening, so you were kind of, because it didn't work obviously then, so you're kind of just like sitting around in waiting mode all day.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Waiting about.
To go to training tonight.
And she would kind of like say to me, come on, we're going into town today or whatever. And I'm like, I can't go into town, I train tonight. You know what I mean? Things like that. Because I kind of still had kind of the professional mentality where I can't do anything, I'm going training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it took a wee while to get used to that, where you still have to do things during the day.
And then as soon as you do realise that, you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah, what was I doing? But yeah, it was, that's obviously how I got back into football with Tommy. But then Tommy, obviously, he then went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
From then, so obviously Roy Walker, then he came in, he was the manager of Ballymena when I first started playing there.
Were you thinking at the time when Tommy signs you, gives you the contract, and then obviously leaves, or you said going like, God, I have to start again here? Or are you thinking embracing it?
No, that wasn't really at the start again. And to be fair to Tommy, he actually rang me and told me what was happening. He told me like I'm leaving and stuff like that. And I didn't really have like any issues with it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, you sent me and what am I going to do now kind of thing. It was just kind of like, well, I knew of Roy Walker because when I was a kid, I supported the Crews growing up. Okay. So he was their manager at the time. And I knew of Roy, but he had been out of the game quite a period of time, so I didn't really know what to expect from him, to be fair.
What was it like?
It was good, to be fair. He obviously he was an old school manager. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like get out and get stuck in. There was no kind of there was no kind of tactics or anything like that. You know what I mean? It was just kind of channels, corner kicks, pick up a man the same size as you. No, I mean, just things. And back then, probably the Irish League was like that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Now it's filled with tactics now. Yeah. But back then, it was just kind of like, just go out and
very straightforward.
If you run harder and you tackle harder than the other team, you're going to win.
Probably more than likely.
More than likely, yeah.
You obviously did do well at that stage because you don't stay at Ballymena for too much longer.
No.
You get a move pretty much.
Yeah, well, my time at Ballymena didn't start off very well. No matter what club I've ever been at, I started off terrible.
Okay.
And it took me a while to find my feet. So at Ballymena, obviously, the first period, kind of 6-7 matches, woeful. Like, so I just obviously came home the Irish League, and I'm kind of like, everyone's looking to expecting big things from me because obviously I played in England.
Your CV, like so big.
Yeah. And then obviously first game against Cliftonville, they banged 6 past me, and then and obviously back the Sunday life. You know what I mean? You get the paper the next day, and you look for your wee score and stuff like that. I got a 2.
Right. Okay.
I got a 2, and I was like,
who was it who wrote it? Baggett?
I don't know. It didn't say anything bad in the article. It was just I looked at the score and it was a 2, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then obviously the next game rolls around, you have another stinker, and then your confidence starts to go more and more and more, and it took a lot for me to claw it back. But then obviously things started going well. Ballymena, I think it was one of the very first games on Sky. When Sky came over here and started doing the games, it was against Newry. Had a really good game that game, and Big Davy was doing the commentary for the game. Had a really good game that game, and I think I got a call from him like a couple of days after, just saying, would you be interested? And I think it was after the Christmas period, so they were allowed to speak to me. Obviously they sent a letter into Ballymena requesting to speak to me, so we spoke, and that was it really. Because
you mustn't have watched the first 6 games then, did you?
No, you must have done. But we spoke, and no, I mean it's Linfield.
Yeah,
it's Linfield. You're not going to turn it down. So without even talking contract or anything, I my answer was yes.
They weren't full time at that stage. They were still.
Well, they were,
Okay,
but
some of them were.
they had I think that's 5 full-time players.
So it'd been like Galty and
Yeah,
McAreevy and
yeah. So Peter Thompson, boys like that, not which it was a strange setup because they were down obviously training every day. Dennis Shields, Dennis Shields,
yeah,
he was taking them for sessions. And I'm like, I meant to train
7 people.
5 boys. I looked down one day and we were practicing throw-ins and things like that, or crossbar challenge. Just to keep them.
It's an excuse to say that they're full.
They're full time.
It's okay.
So I had, obviously when I joined, I had requested, I want to go full time, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. So that we were all part time, they were all full time, but it worked anyway because the amount of trophies we won was unbelievable.
Did you have that same bedding in period at Linfield then? Because you said like most of your clubs have been a bit of a rocky patch to start off. You're smiling here, right?
Yeah.
Explain.
Disaster start.
Okay.
Disasters. First game away to Coleraine. 10 minutes into the game, ball comes over the top. I can Flannery declare it, completely miss the ball. 1-0.
As in you take a swipe?
Take a swipe for the ball, completely miss it. Completely miss the ball. Completely miss the ball. 1-0. And the Linfield fans.
Yeah, everybody.
Like that whole bottom end, the whole bottom end of the goal is completely full. Over here is completely full. And you want it. And Laura and her mum were there watching.
Okay.
I think Laura actually had to leave at half time because the amount of abuse I was taking was mental. Mental. Get Manas back. Blayney, you're a dude. Just constant the whole game. But that was the first goal. Second goal as well was my fault as well.
Right.
But we clawed it back, drew 2 each. Right? A lot of people are like, no harm done. But I'm like, yeah, but
It affects you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it affects you. Second game rolls around. Terrible game again. Really bad game again. I think. And Davey let me away with it for a period. So I'm going to... Sturdy Addis, Sturdy Addis.
Yeah.
Sturdy Addis is my mate. So I kind of got away with it because Sturdy was a second choice goalkeeper. I hope he's watching this.
That's so horrible, but so funny at the same time.
Well, me and Sturdy are late, so he'll get the joke. So I kind of got away with it. And then we play. Do you remember the the Southampton Cup?
Oh.
Derry City came to Windsor that day, and I had probably one of the best games in my career.
Right.
That day, saved the penalty, made numerous saves, and then after that game, I just went
Confidence
just soared.
So what was that like? Derry coming to Windsor Park.
Hostile.
Was it like completely madness?
Now, obviously, we
Like,
don't see what goes on outside the ground and stuff like that. But back then, it's just flares everywhere. You know what I mean? It was obviously it's the old Windsor as well, so it's obviously more full and stuff like that. So they obviously had the whole stand filled, and you couldn't even see people with the flares and the smoke and
atmosphere.
the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, really, really good. Now, between the players and stuff, there was no kind of hostility or anything. You know, as footballers, you just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, it was really good.
The actual occasion in the day.
Yeah, really, really good atmosphere. And obviously, then because I had a really good game, my confidence lifted, and I started to kick on. Then
Is that really like that period with Linfield is really the first time that you've kind of started winning silverware and being a part of teams that are like dominant?
yeah,
And Linfield's team at that stage was dominant.
yes,
What was that like for you? Surely it must have been nice having those players in front of you as well, like because it's like a star-studded.
yeah, it was.
Isn't it? Like it's mental. Like
Yeah,
you rhyme off the names, you're like Jesus.
I know. Yeah, crazy team. Obviously, you go through all the players that were all household, names. Obviously, in this country, I mean, everybody knew who they were, and that's kind of how we dominated because we had all the best players, but we were managed in the right way. Big Davy, obviously, everyone was afraid of Big Davy. No, I mean, Winky Murphy was afraid of Big Davy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and you know Winky Murphy. No, I mean, he's not afraid of anybody. He was afraid of Big Davy. So we all kind of towed the line, kind of thing. You know what I mean? We all knew if we don't perform, he'll whip you off, regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's 6 or 7 others there household names that'll just come on and replace you.
At that stage, whenever you're part of Linfield, and Linfield have that influx of money, like they're going full time, nobody else at that stage is even close to thinking about things like that. And then anybody who kind of pokes their head up that they've had a good 6 months, more than likely was signed.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you just completely bought? And I know that's probably the first time I've brought this up in the conversation, so I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but do you feel like, and you always hear Linfield always won the titles because they bought the league, but primarily they signed all the best players, which is, if you have the money, you would do it.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Now, you can say Linfield bought the league. Yeah, they did get all the best players, but that doesn't guarantee you winning the league.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can get all these really good players together. They might not gel. Do you know what I mean? And for some weird reason, we were all the best of mates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You see all these different players or whatever. We were all best mates. Every year we all went away to Magaluf. Every single one of us. Every single player in that squad. We all, no way now when you organise football trips or whatever, there's the odd one, oh, I'm not going, or this, that and the other. Nobody missed.
That's probably because you knew you were going to win the league.
Yeah, well,
so it's like, let's go celebrate, because
and it's easier.
It's always cheaper to book the year in advance.
Yeah, but it's easier as well to be all best mates when things are going well.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what I mean? So that's a part of it as well, because things were fantastic. Do you know, we won 3 doubles in 3 years.
Yeah.
And obviously when things going well, everybody loves each other. That's when things don't go well. That's when people start fighting and arguing, and
things obviously started to not go well.
Yeah.
And that's given it.
Well, for me, after that 3-year period where we were so successful, I think then, I don't know, players were coming to the end of their careers and different things like that, and it just wasn't clicking at all after those 3 years. We obviously didn't win the league the 4th year, the 5th year. And then obviously Big Davy was talking of leaving, and just things weren't going really well at all. Obviously, then I go back to it. After the 3rd season, we done really well. We went back to pre-season, so we done a fit S&C kind of fitness guy came in to take pre-season. So I'll not name any names, but he put us through this brutal workout.
Okay.
Like the maddest thing I've ever seen.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So at the end of the session, he finished it off with press-ups. So I started I got down on my hands to start doing the press-ups, but my arms weren't working. I was like, why's my arms not working? Like, they weren't working. I couldn't bend them. I couldn't push.
Just locked.
Completely. No, my arms were bent, but my arms just stopped working. I was like, that's weird. So I just kind of sat down, went home. Me and Laura were going on holiday the next day. So I'm sitting, and my shoulders feels weird, and I look over, and my shoulders up near the side of my ear. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then the back of my arm starts going out here. And I'm like, this is really weird. But I just thought, oh, you've done that massive, really hard workout. You're fine. So I went on holiday. And I ended up, the next morning I woke up, I was swollen up everywhere. My whole upper half of my body was completely just swollen out. Like the maddest thing you've ever seen. Couldn't move this arm. I was walking through the airport with my arm in a sling. Went on holiday. The swelling just started getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, something not right here. But I just kept kind of brushing it away. I'll be all right tomorrow morning. I'll be all right. Be all right tomorrow morning. Drinking beer in the sun, all different things like that. The second to last day, I went to the toilet. I went for a pee. Completely black. My pee was black. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is really weird. So I Googled it. And it says that your organs are failing. Like it said that your organs could be failing. Rehydrate as quick as possible. So I drank about 7 litres of water
You're hydrated. We're not painting away.
Yeah, I drank about 7 litres of water, and then I felt okay. So we flew home the next day, and my sister picked us up from the airport. So she took me to the hospital, and I was sitting there. My hands were all swollen, this, that, and the other. So the doctors are looking at me going, they're looking at me really strange, like looking at me. So they went into the back office and then came back out, and they're looking at me going, how are you still alive? Like one of the doctors actually said to me, how are you still, I can't believe you're still living. So I actually, from me doing that workout, my muscles started to shut down. So, honest to God, here, it's the maddest thing ever. It's called rhabdomyolysis. Right? So my muscles all were shutting down. And whatever comes out of your muscles starts to attack your internal organs.
Okay.
So that is what was happening to me all through the week.
This is after like one workout. So after like this, like
that, it was so strange. I don't know what, it didn't happen to anyone else. It only happened to me. And the doctor goes, we don't understand how you're still alive.
Okay.
And he says, what did you do when you were, and them 7 litres of water actually saved my life.
Right.
If I hadn't have drank so much water, saturated my body with water, I probably wouldn't have got on that plane. I'd been getting off that plane in a coffin. So
this all comes from like an S&C session?
Pre-season. So that came from an S&C session. Well, it wasn't even S&C. It was like a thing, something you'd see in the army.
Right, okay.
So after recovered,
I need to know. I need you to tell me the guy's name after. So
that's right. You I got back to training, and I just didn't feel the same. Physically didn't feel. I felt slow and weak, and so I went back to the hospital, and they just says, look, this is going to take time for your muscles to all rebuild and stuff like that. You can't do this and that. You can't drink alcohol for 6 months. You can't do any of that. You just need to slowly build yourself up again, But it just didn't happen.
Did you feel constantly like tired? Like were you like
no, I didn't feel tired. I just felt physically weak.
Okay.
So if I went to like lift something or
right, okay,
stuff like that, I just didn't feel any strength in my upper body at all.
So mad.
And that's in how my time at Linfield started to come to an end, because I just couldn't do what I was used to.
So Davey got rid of you because you almost died?
No, we pretty much. No, basically, I wasn't the same goalkeeper.
Well, fair enough.
No, I mean, he's employed by the club to win trophies.
Yes,
he's not going to win trophies with a goalkeeper that's not performing at his best.
Yes.
So
who came in at this stage, or who was with
Johnny Tuffy?
Tuffy was out.
He came in. He came in, and I wasn't getting game time at all, because back then Davey wasn't putting a keeper on the bench.
No, was it? Yeah, just
so he wasn't. So me and Ross, I don't know if Davey done this deliberately or not to try and get me out. I don't know now. Davey will not mind me saying this, because me and Davey get on the best.
Yeah.
But he used to send me and Ross with Swifts.
Okay.
Play a half each for Linfield Swifts. So it did. So
you get first half?
Me and Ross got first half.
Oh god, right, you were in the packing order.
So me and Ross were playing a half each for Linfield Swifts, and I was like, I can't be doing this. This is not normal. And I just went in and said, look, I want to go on loan. And he says, well, the only options are Ards. And I said, I don't care who it is. Ards were in the Premiership at that time. Mm-hmm. So I says, yeah, no problem. I'll go on loan to the Ards, no problem. Went there, went quite well, to be fair. Within about the 5th game, fell, broke my ribs. So that was me, the loan season done. So it was. And then...
Was your contract up at the end of that season?
Yeah, that was my contract was up then.
Okay, fair enough.
So it was. So then I went on and signed for Glenavon.
Okay. Who's the manager at Glenavon at this stage?
Gary Hamilton.
So Gaz is in there? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's just taken over, has he?
He was there a year previous, I think. He'd just taken over a year, and then I joined.
Okay.
So that didn't work out.
No?
Why? Didn't work out. Just didn't. It was the same thing. I just wasn't the same goalkeeper as I was after that illness.
So see, at this stage, like, before we go any further, do you think that you've kind of settled upon the opinion that, like, you're just kind of getting by at this stage?
Yeah.
Like, is it just being like, I'm getting a few quid,
Mm-hmm.
I might as well do it, and if it doesn't work out, I might get a few quid somewhere else?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think when I left Linfield, I think I probably should have just
Jacked it.
then. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to earn money, so
You have to, exactly. And sometimes it's like, I know it's not probably the right thing to say here, but we've all done it. I've signed for clubs when it tops up my wage.
yeah.
And yes,
And I had the same mindset. It was kind of like, well, I can kind of still get by at the strength and the ability that I have at the minute. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not just keep doing it until I can't?
And that's the thing is too, there's still the option that it's going to come back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like this is like you're going downhill. It's not like
Yeah.
your muscles are deteriorating.
Yeah, no, and there was always that hope. There was always that hope that I would get back to what I used to be.
Yeah.
But obviously it just didn't happen for me.
How did you find Gary at that stage? Because obviously he's just come in. He was a player manager at the start, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously he went in as full manager. Gary's different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes he's for people, sometimes he's not. But what was it?
No,
for you?
I found Gary okay. Me and Gary get on okay. It was just, it was me. I just accepted the fact that I just wasn't going to be the same goalkeeper anymore. So I kind of just went through the motions kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, then Gary was in, well, what's the point of you being here kind of thing? Do you know
He's
what I mean?
starting off young manager.
Yeah, what's the point of you being here and us paying you a wage if it's going to be like this? So that I was at Glenavon, I think, only a season. It was only there a season. Then I went back to Ballymena.
Because this is where I never tied in with you the first year.
Yeah.
So you were there for 2.
Yes.
And I think so you've signed and then you've done the 6 months and then I'm going to guess Davy and Brian have came in like the... So Spike was
the manager at the stage, yeah. He tried to sign me before I went to Glenavon, but I chose Glenavon.
Okay.
Didn't work out at Glenavon. And I think I contacted him again saying, look, I'm going to be leaving Glenavon. Is the option still open for me to come to Ballymena? Which it was. So we met up and that was it, really.
You would have played with Spike, obviously.
No.
At Linfield, he wasn't there at that stage.
Spike had left the season before I joined.
Okay.
So we did. So me and Spike never played together. Spike dead on. Me and Spike get on well. I think he done quite well, to be fair. He had them up a couple of seasons. He had them up in the top of the league at a stage and stuff like that. Done quite well with them. But even at Ballymena, the end, it just wasn't the same. It was the same story. Just couldn't claw back what I had. And it was just a constant battle, you know. Still worked really, really hard.
Yes.
In training, but it was just a constant battle to try and... It's a strange one. You kind of...
Does it annoy you? Like, looking back on it now, thinking I went for such a long period after that episode that you couldn't get back.
It doesn't annoy me now. Back then it annoyed me.
Yeah.
It annoyed me when I couldn't do certain things, or things are going in where you're like, I saved that, no problem. I should have saved that. But you just didn't feel the same. Even though it was a physical thing, you just didn't feel... I didn't feel the same mentally either.
That's what I was about to say. So mentally you're in a position there where you're not able to do the same things that you were able to do.
Yeah.
Does that not make it harder for you to want to stay in the game?
Yeah.
Because you're like, why am I doing this myself? Like, I'm just
it does, and
myself,
it's
like,
that
problems.
That goes down to, I have a contract here. I'm earning decent money.
Yeah, fair.
So I still have to earn a wage. Do you know what I mean? So
have you started working at this stage as well?
Yeah, I obviously worked with my wife in their flower shop.
Yeah.
Doing the deliveries. But I was kind of just like, well, if I'm earning money, why would I just walk away from it? Do you know what I mean? Because we all, like I said, we have to earn money. I know it doesn't right saying that.
You still enjoy going doing the training, so it's like
love going and training and stuff like that. Loved it. But it just didn't feel the same.
When Davy and Brian come in the January, are you thinking, the writing's on the wall here straight away and I'm done 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. Big Davy came in, we had a chat, and after the chat I thought, this isn't gonna work out very well here.
Right.
But it actually did. It actually worked out okay for a period. I started to get a wee bit of the feeling back again. I was playing quite well. Then another injury. My knee come out, bad tackle. I don't know if it was medial. What's the worst one? There's a medial and a cruciate. Medial.
Cruciate's the middle, your ACL's
Yeah, it was a medial thing I done. And then that knocked me out then. And then I was just couldn't.
battle in.
Yeah, just a battle then.
I remember sailing in the summer and you were still there.
Yeah.
And that was the first year that Davey had kind of had a window.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke before about the Australian, Tim Allen,
Yes.
who came in.
Yeah.
Because Tim Allen's my favourite Christmas actor. And I thought this was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Tim Allen's here.
Yeah.
Great guy. He didn't really amount to much either. And
No, well, that's he showed up to training, and as soon as I seen him, I knew what was going on.
yeah.
I knew that the writing was on the wall. So obviously after training, Davey pulled me in and he goes, "Look, you're not going to play, and you can leave." And I said, "Yeah, no problem, I'll leave." Kind of, because I was always of that nature. I was just kind of like, I did what I was told.
Yeah.
And I never fought back.
You would have had that other year then, because we done pre-season. You would have had another year.
No, that was
Stay, no?
no,
Or were you
because
coming
that
back?
kind of came around the Christmas period, I think. So I had only had
6 months.
6 months left this end of the season.
Yeah.
Then left, no club. Toying with the idea of just retiring then, and then Dundela got in contact, so I went and played for Dundela for a period of time. By the way, what a football club!
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's very simplistic to me when looking at it from the outside in,
Yeah,
but it doesn't offer much. And this doesn't, and not to sound rude to anybody who's done Zella fans, but like the pitch hasn't changed in years.
no,
It's just it functions exactly how it should for what it is.
yeah,
And everyone seems to really enjoy and love it.
yeah,
Like it has a good social club.
mm-hmm.
It's good people around it.
yeah,
They're just happy with what's there.
yeah. No, for me it was, like I said, what a football club!
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. All the people around the place, they couldn't have done enough for you.
Yeah.
Really, really good guys all around the place. And from the outside looking in, you're probably thinking pub team or whatever, but they did try to do everything right.
No, and that's what I've heard from most people who
Yeah.
end up saying from that the club's fantastic.
Yeah.
The only thing that annoys me about the club is just that it can't go up.
No.
And there's times where they win the league.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're supposed to go up now.
Yeah.
And then they just can't. And
I think there's maybe an element of it that they maybe don't want to go up.
well, yeah, but I mean,
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, because
Yeah.
obviously to be in the Premiership, it's an expensive exercise.
it is.
You know what I mean? You have so many restrictions on your ground of what you need to have, and
Stands and
stands and
size and all that
ambulances
sort of
and
stuff.
all things like that.
You can't have it uphill either.
Yeah, you can't have it uphill. Now, to be fair, the ground has changed a bit. We have all like new wee stands and stuff around the pitch and stuff, but the pitch obviously still has that slope on it.
Yeah.
But I had really fond memories of being at Dundela. Really, really enjoyed it.
Who was the manager of Dundela at that stage?
Stephen Gurley.
Okay.
Stephen Gurley was the manager for.
He used to play, didn't he?
Yes, he was
was
Dundela
a-
captain.
Yes, I remember.
So he was, yeah,
Yeah. It's very good.
yeah.
And then where'd you go to next?
Warren Point,
Oh.
bit further afield.
So
So obviously,
compared to going to
yeah. So Tippy,
Vulgar point.
Matthew Tipton was the manager of Warren Point.
okay.
So I played with him at Linfield. He got in touch and goes, "Would you fancy coming down at the Warren Point signing for us?" And I went, "Can you let me think about it?" Because I was still home in hand, and I'm kind of like, but the money was decent.
Yeah.
So again, that kind of
Swerves you.
ruled my head, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Well, I'm still going to be earning decent money, and it just was a disaster.
Right, okay.
Complete disaster. Just obviously our youngest, Kingston, he was just born.
Okay.
And then me travelling down to there, back and forward twice a week. It was just an endurance test, to be fair.
Yeah.
The games that I did play didn't really do very well, and just at this stage it was just kind of
Trotting along.
petering out, just
Mhm.
plodding along, kind of just going through the motions. And then I think it got maybe 6 months in, and then Tippy just rang me and goes, "Big man, Ballyclare looking a keeper closer to home. Do you fancy going? They're going to give you the same money we're giving you here. Blah blah. He says, I jumped at the chance. He goes, yeah, no problem. But went to Ballyclare, and that lasted maybe 2-3 months. Broke my finger, and then I went,
Done.
that's it, done.
See, at this stage where you're come to the end, you've obviously went to Dundela, 1 point, Ballyclare. Obviously, you've had the injury.
Yeah.
But at the same time, are you kind of thinking like precautions for after? Like you're kind of gearing yourself towards probably finishing up at this stage.
Yeah.
Have you got anything in mind? Was coaching something that was a natural progression for you and you wanted to be in?
It was kind of like, I felt like coaching was just what I was supposed to do. I mean, it's kind of like, well, you played, so you may as well coach.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I kind of jumped into it. I didn't really plan to coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I just jumped into coaching. So when I left Ballyclare, turns out Dundela were looking for a goalkeeper coach. Now, I didn't have any coaching badges, but at Dundela, you didn't need them. In the championship level, you don't need them. So I was like, yeah, superb, no problem. Went there, and Stephen Gurley actually said, no, you're a player coach. Right, okay, no problem. Actually played a few games reluctantly, because I was just done with playing, completely done with playing. Coached there for a period, and then obviously Lauren got in touch and asked would I like to come and join them.
You end up going full time because this is where we meet up again.
Yes.
What a time.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
Yeah,
like the group was the maddest.
Yeah,
collaboration of people that shouldn't existed together.
Yeah,
and obviously COVID kind of dampened people's spirits at times.
Yes,
but so much fun.
Yeah,
and the club was just on the rise. So you were part of nights out that were planned and paid for, and Kenny was at the helm, and it's just surreal.
Yeah. It was, and obviously from the outside looking in, you seen this kind of journey Lauren were on, and that's what kind of drew me in.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. You know what I mean? You looked at the stadium getting redeveloped, and they were getting a new training ground and all that, and it was like the closest thing to what football would be back in England, like training facility with professionalism and stuff like that. So I kind of just jumped at the chance and didn't look back. I absolutely loved it.
Is that something that you see that you obviously you've came out of it now? Mm-hmm. You're doing your 1-to-1s, you're doing your own academy near enough where you're taking kids. Would be going into a full-time setup be something that you would want to jump at again?
No.
Okay, right.
No. Towards the end, it kind of started to feel, it was like my oldest son, Phoenix, so he plays football, he's a goalkeeper, and he's doing good things with football. So he's in a different country every couple of months. So I wouldn't have been able to experience that with him if I had been still full-time coaching.
Okay.
And it's something that I really want to experience with him. So that would have put a stop to that. Now, that's not the reason I stepped out of coaching. The reason I stepped out of coaching was kind of taken out of my hands kind of thing. It was kind of, I didn't have the correct coaching badges to coach in Europe.
Okay.
So any clubs applying for a European license, the goalkeeping coach has to have, well, this only came in last season, the goalkeeping coach has to have a goalkeeping A license, which I didn't have. So that's the reason why then I had to step away.
It just seems weird that has to be a stipulation on whether you get...
I did have pre-warning that this was going to happen, and I needed to get my coursework finished for my B license.
So that you could be on the A, or
so I could be on the A.
Okay.
Which I didn't do.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Because I think we spoke briefly about this. The whole coaching badge thing, I have a whole thing about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just, you need a PhD on a computer to be a good coach nowadays. People think if you can do this on the computer and you can do PowerPoints and all this jazz on the computers, oh, he's a great coach, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it does...
Whatever happens out of paper.
The actual coaching
happens
on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes you're judged more on what you can do.
It's an exercise. Like, get your badges seems to be.
Yeah.
And the same boat, like, and I have finished. I technically have half of an A license because I haven't finished the paperwork. But I'm like, at what stage am I able to do 30 odd sessions and deliver these, do the paperwork on them while I was supposed to be playing? Now, I have no room for error here whenever I say that I haven't done them in the last 6 or 8 months since I've done my knee, which I probably should have done, but at the same time I'm like,
I kind of was just like, you had like a 6-month period to do all the coursework, and I'm always one of these ones where I'll do it tomorrow.
Yes, I
do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yes.
And then tomorrow becomes 3 months, 4 months.
Mine's 2 years, so
and then
I completely feel it.
And then you're like, I'm never going to get this done.
Yeah.
And then you just bury your head.
Stress comes with it, and then you're like, just
bury your head in the sand, and then you kind of just accept your fate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna get this here. And I knew it was coming. And to be fair, Lauren were fantastic with me. You know what I mean? They didn't just boot me out the door, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I still work with the academy and stuff like that, and I still have great friends down there and stuff. So there was no kind of ill feeling between both parties. It was just, it's just one of them things that had to happen.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I want to talk to you about is at the end is you've touched on Phoenix. Now, I've known Phoenix probably a long time since we started working together.
Yes.
He's now no longer wee Phoenix. 6'4". He's probably a better keeper than you. Than you were at your prime. He's incredible. And he's over and he's on these trials and stuff. But what is that like for you, watching him get to that stage where you were there at one stage? It must be nice.
It's actually, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch because Phoenix is everything that I wasn't. Phoenix has this elite mindset where he's the best. And I wish
that was you.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Phoenix believes in himself so much. And I think a big part of that comes from my wife Laura as well. The way she's raised the boys and stuff. But he has this, mindset of, I'm the best, I deserve to be here. All that comes with it. You know what I mean? And he obviously has the ability to go with it. So he's doing really well at the minute. All good things are happening for him at the minute.
I was going to say, are you giving any advice, considering that you never really was given any?
Yeah, no, well I am. I don't coach Phoenix. Because if I try and coach Phoenix, the fights are just ridiculous.
Okay, fair enough.
Ridiculous, honest to God. And he comes home and, Mum, he said this and he said that, and
we tout.
We're all fighting. Do you know what I mean? We tout, exactly. So he's in really good hands at JD Academy, so he lives there full time during the week.
Yes.
He's really good hands with David Pascali. He's the goalkeeper coach over there, so he's a very, very good goalkeeper coach. And I don't give Phoenix any kind of advice on football stuff.
Okay.
It's more kind of life advice on what not to do and what to do.
It must be nice though, knowing that you've went through it all, and he has somebody in that position where it's not daunting for him.
Yeah.
Not that he would probably feel the pressure. He's that confident. He's probably like,
no, mate, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We went over to Liverpool 2 weeks ago, and he's never been there. Do you know what I mean? And he's meeting all these kids, and there's all these people watching, and he looks like he's training up a Grove Park.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. And I actually look at him and go, that's unbelievable.
It doesn't faze him.
It doesn't faze him, and I wish I had that when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of kids nowadays have that a wee bit. I see a lot of young lads, especially the ones that are all JD and stuff like that. They all kind of have that mindset where, no, I'm the best.
I think it helps though that they're in that position that they're in.
Yeah.
Like that academy kind of stimulates that they are the cream.
Yeah.
And they're put in that for a reason.
Yeah.
To try and develop you to get away. So
yeah,
hopefully that is something that is going to build their mindset around you're here for this specific reason.
Yeah. And they're getting obviously every day they're getting the best of coaching.
They are.
You know what I mean? Where they're living, they're getting the best of nutrition and gym and all that goes with it. They're getting the best of everything.
Well, listen, I feel like we should end it there because it's been an incredible conversation. And
yep.
I really do hope that he gets everything that he's supposed to. It'll be nice for me to get over to maybe watch him once with his dad if he goes
Yeah.
if he goes to Liverpool.
Get a few tickets.
Yeah. But listen, it's been incredible. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing your story. It's so good to see you.
And you, mate.
But we finished on hugs.
Okay.
So up you get.
Always very loud. Thank you. No, never. Thank you. They're tight. They're up, man.
Stretch out like. Join us next week on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. See you all soon.